Hello, everybody, and welcome into Senior Living Live. My name is Melissa. I hope you are having a fantastic day today. Well, we are previewing one of our upcoming webinars called Aging in Place is an Illusion. Now, what does that mean? Well, we're going to get into that. Brandt Ross, he is here to explain to you why you or your senior loved one might improve their quality of life by moving into a senior living community. Brandt, it is so good to see you again. We come full circle back. You were one of our first guests for our Senior Living Live webinar series. It is so good to see you again. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, you bet. So let's start with the first question here. Okay, so we heard the title, Aging in Place is an Illusion. What exactly does that mean?
Well, all of us, when I say us, I'm really referring to seniors in general. We all are living in this delusionary belief that we're happy in our homes and it can continue forever. We'll continue living, we'll continue going out, we'll continue traveling. It's a delusion because it's really not going to happen. Sadly, one of the spouses is either going to get sick, injured, or perhaps even die. And then our life changes overnight. So the fact is that it is an illusion. It's a happy illusion, but one we've really got to come to grips with.
And that's the part that is really difficult for a lot of people, even when they're in the process of making that move, because they know it's the right thing deep down, but they still want to hold on to that, yes, as you said, that illusion of that home that they've had for decades. So what are some of the questions one should consider when deciding whether or not to stay in their home or make that move and leap into senior living?
Well, the fact is that when you're at home, you are at risk of many things. In my first class, I described what are the things that can happen. And I have about a dozen case studies of friends and family, people I know, all of whom experienced something that they've never thought was possible. And it can be anything. Usually it's a fall. And the fall can be that much more severe. If you're living in a one-story house, that's nice, but you still can have a fall. Not only that, but so many other things can happen. A stroke, an accident, not only the stairs or something like that, but think of the other tragedies that can befall you in a home. A tree falls on your house. It happened to a number of people I know. There's just so many things that can happen to you. And the fact is that as we age, our ability to be able to handle and cope with these things is much more limited. So why do we stretch our environment just trying to think that only good things are going to happen? It's just the fact that it's not what it is.
Yeah. So we talk about some of the things that could happen, but let's talk about maybe those potential hazards that, you look at somebody's house and every single day, these are potential things that could go wrong. What are some of those hazards that maybe people should consider when they are living in their own home?
Well, the hazards are, there are too many to enumerate, but as I said, the most common one is a fall. And what a fall triggers, obviously, is a broken limb, hip. Usually it's the hips, knees, and things like that. And when you're talking about hip surgery, you're talking about a chronic condition that continues forever. It may put someone into a walker or a wheelchair. But I mean, the fact is that people are going to fall. And we have people here living in a senior residence who fall. But the fact is that they're more secure and more protected and in an environment where they can get assistance if they do fall. There are just so many things. A dear friend of ours had a stroke and she was living by herself. She lay there for 2 days until a relative finally called the police because he couldn't reach her. And the police had to break in, and she had, thank God, she has really recovered most of her faculties, but for 6 months she was in a terrible situation, which was exacerbated by the fact that she laid there without treatment, for 2 days. I mean, there are so many horror stories that happen. I'm not saying that everything is perfect in a senior residence, but you're in a safe and secure environment where help is available. And that's the most important thing.
Yeah, that is really scary. I
Yeah,
mean, 2 days, and who would have, I mean, you don't even know, you hate to think of what would have happened if her friend didn't check up on her, right? I mean,
exactly.
that's really horrific. Now you are somebody, you and your wife, you put your money where your mouth is, right? You talk about this subject a lot. You talk about it to groups of seniors, or people who are looking at potentially making that move. Should I not? And you guys do live in a senior living community. So can you give our viewers some examples of times when you and your wife, Jenny, experienced firsthand how moving into a senior living community really was the right choice for you guys?
Um, when we first moved into the senior community, I think we'd been there approximately 3 weeks when I accidentally pulled the emergency cord in the bathroom. And within 2 minutes, there was someone, the staff member from the facility there with a first aid kit wanting to know if we were okay. That was my first clue. And then everything else that has happened since then was just a reacquaintance with the fact that you're in a safe and secure environment, you're well protected, and access to everything. When we went into lockdown, all of our meals were brought to our door. We didn't have to go out or do anything. It's just the fact that when you reach a certain age, and that age varies, it can be 60, it can be 70, 75. It's not so much the age, it's really in a sense of where you are in your life circle and so on. But it just constantly, especially during the pandemic, they were terrific in terms of taking care of us and protecting us.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And a great example there, by the way, too. Well, I mean, again, you are living it. You are the peer of the individuals who will be watching this. So who should tune into this webinar, Brandt?
Oh gosh, I would say there's basically, I think, two groups of people. Seniors, and I define seniors really as anybody over the age of 65, because we're all in different stages, of our progression. But every senior should listen to this, even if they would choose to ignore it, at least they can do it with some knowledge. The other people who should listen to this are the baby boomers. And of course, the baby boomers are now in their 60s. They may have parents who insist on staying in their homes, and they're dealing with the fact that a parent issue where almost the parent becomes the child. Those are really difficult situations. And children, like I say, the boomers really need help in dealing with parents who are clinging to their stuff and their things and their house and so on. So those are the two groups of people who really need, let's say, some guidance. I'm not an expert in anything. The only thing I'm expert at, having done 2 transitions over the course of 7 years, we've learned a lot, met a lot of nice people, and had a lot of nice experiences.
Yeah, and you are sharing those experiences with our viewers, and we cannot thank you enough for that. Brandt Ross, thank you so much for being with us today. And we are so glad that you decided to come back and share this presentation of yours. It's called, once again, Aging in Place is an Illusion. Brandt, we will see you October 25th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Bye-bye.